Hey everybody, it's James, otherwise known as the Skate Punk Lefty, back here with another video. I told you I promised a little more consistency with uploads. So today we're going to be covering this guy named All Things Theology. So my wife and I are both Christian, and my wife likes to hear, things about scripture in the Bible, even more so than I do. She told me that this black guy here that covers, and I give him the benefit of the doubt because he does cover some videos of some preachers and pastors acting like clowns, clout chasing for money, pretending to be God for themselves, running scams and frauds and fake charity organizations. So this guy has done some good work, but if he's a conservative, especially a black conservative, what else would this channel be for? So I'm not gonna go into this video being hostile because it's times where I done booted up videos where I would start to try to speak about something and I go in hostile, like, oh, this person's going to be dumb and all this other stuff. But let's see just how much of a conservative this guy is. So is this going to be him saying backwards, ignorant, one-sided stuff about Kamala Harris going to a church? Or is this going to be a video about, I don't know, what's the best sandpaper to texture wood? We'll see.
Jamal Bryant. So what is Jamal doing on this glorious Sunday? I click on it, and lo and behold, I see Kamala Harris. And I got to blind react to this. Now, I watched some of it, so I know what she's talking about, but
we're doing a react to a react video, ironically enough.
I'm going to blind react to most of this. Look, I don't even be going live on Sundays. I was like, let me talk about this. Because Kamala Harris is trying to pander. She's trying to garner the black vote. So, trying to get those black.
See, here we go. This dude's a fool. I knew it. First of all, dude, Democrat politicians don't have to pander to black people to get their vote because Republican politicians have policies, and I'm talking about policies and their ideals that they show through speeches, and the policies that they promote inherently are anti-black, anti-working class, and hurt black people. That's why black people vote Democrat. And I'm not saying Democrats are the end-all, be-all saviors of black people, because the answer to the Democrats' now neoliberalism is socialism or anarchism, communism, at least social democracy, which is the most we might get in America. Similar to what they have in like Finland and stuff like that. So this trash about Kamala Harris pandering to get black votes, she's just so happens to be black, and she so happens to have the policies that black people like. Black people will vote for anybody regardless of what race that they are. The only thing black people care about is, number one, not hearing a lot of anti-black rhetoric from that person, and two, having policies that actually help black people. So without even getting 2-3 minutes into this video, this is a lot of ignorant garbage just right off the bat.
Christian, come on. Vote for your sister. Come on, I'm black.
Not to mention the fact, if you're Christian, belief in things like pacifism and charity are Democrat ideals. Those are liberal ideals. Those are left-wing ideals, not right-wing ideals. Keep maintaining poverty. Like, one of my favorite gotchas for conservatives is that conservatives, of any race, y'all literally don't want kids to get free lunches at school. And y'all talk about how y'all are the charity workers for Jesus and stuff like that, yet y'all won't do Jesus' work. And anytime on a political or even local, well, first of all, they know local small charities like churches or billionaires giving people thing is too ineffective to change the lives of the people that they dislike. Working class people, colored people, queer people, etc., women. So they don't want government policies to actually lift people out of poverty and solve a lot of the economic woes that they're having. This guy, like many other conservatives, loves seeing people suffer and assume that just because somebody is suffering is their fault.
I'm a female, Jamal Bryant's church, they do a lot of pandering. And I started thinking, why would Jamal Bryant have Kamala Harris come in and really politic in the church? Well, I'm like, whoa.
Why did that one church in Detroit have Donald Trump come in, and the one dude that invited him keeps going on Fox News interviews making a fool out of himself? Saying the same garbage you're saying, where simply black people are voting for the politician that they think is best for them, and it's called pandering because people don't want white supremacist policies. People don't want to vote in union busters. People don't want to vote in people that are trying to take away social safety nets. People that don't want to vote in, fake Christians that held the Bible upside down in front of a church.
Well, it actually makes sense when you think about it, because they largely believe the same thing, right? They both are pro. And Obama did it too, right? Jamal brings all the Democratic people into the church.
So
and lets them pander to his people.
And then what people like this ignore. I'm sorry, I keep pausing a lot because this fake black Christian conservative junk is ridiculous. But keep in mind, Martin Luther King was a Christian. It was Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Reverend Martin Luther King started preaching in the church and held left-wing ideals of pacifism, anti-militarism, pro-worker sentiment. So this garbage where you have to remove Democrat politicians or politics from the church is asinine. Not to mention the fact Trump and other right-wing conservatives are in churches all the time. Look at, for instance, the piece of trash Kenneth Copeland. Kenneth Copeland can't stop talking about politics in the church, to where every time I see a clip of Kenneth Copeland, it's not him talking about, the word of God or scripture. It's him endorsing or defending Trump.
People and before people, because I already know what's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna come in the comments. Someone's gonna leave a chat. They're gonna say,
"I'm doing way more than just leaving a chat."
You don't got a problem with Trump, right? And it's like, if Trump did it, I would do this. I would be having an issue as well.
He does do it. That's the issue, bro. He does do it. Literally, bro. One of the most infamous moments is that Trump had a bunch of protesters beaten and pushed back so he can hold the Bible upside down in front of a church. And he was at the church in Detroit, and right-wing politicians are constantly pandering, literally pandering, when we talk about abortion, LGBT rights, anti-black civil rights, anti-immigration. Republicans pander too, but y'all don't call it pandering because they serve the interest of y'all biases. Both parties pander, but y'all do this fake radicalism garbage where you will call out the Democrats pandering, which they do, but you won't call out Republican pandering. Black conservatives are especially bad with this when they say people are pandering to black people, but pretend like nobody panders to white people. I would like to ask All Things Theology, what's the Southern strategy? Because that's what I always ask black conservatives whenever they say this garbage. Like, white people don't get pandered to. Every Republican policy and platform is pandering to white people.
Before people come in there, go on and tell them when they come in the chat, when they come in leave a comment, tell them K-Dub believes it's a problem too. The problem is I don't see Trump actually going into churches. Now he may.
He has gone into churches more so than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. He probably don't go as much as Joe Biden because I don't see. And this is another contradiction. Unlike Trump, Biden goes to church. Biden is a practicing Catholic. Trump said he was non-religious, dude, and that he's, and then he just garners the Christian vote. Because keep in mind, if Trump is not a Christian, but he's speaking in your biases, that means you're probably not real Christians either. I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but just like hearing this, I don't know if this guy, because at the end of the day, I don't know if he's really this dumb or if he's grifting, which are the same thing to me. But it's just a lot of conservative contradiction just hitting me right in the freaking face. I almost cursed. Glad I stopped myself. Less video promotion when you curse. Point being is that, the stuff that these people say, when they talk about, things like pandering or Democrats being here, that, or other, or the left doing this, that, or the other, it's contradicting, because everything that they try to call out Kamala Harris for doing, or Joe Biden for doing, or President Obama for doing, or Bill Clinton for doing, or Jimmy Carter for doing, or Lyndon B. Johnson for doing, or John F. Kennedy for doing, or for Franklin D. Roosevelt for doing, for Harry Truman for doing, Republicans have done way worse. And I know two that I might have named were before the Southern strategy happened. But at the end of the day, everything that you say about Democrats pandering, Republicans do worse. Republicans pander to rich people. They pander to bigotry. It's like transphobia, homophobia, racism. Why you think now it's so bad to the point where the immigration line is being picked up by the Democrats where it sounds like they're anti-immigrant? So this garbage about, one side just completely falling over and pandering is garbage. Like, and then this also, we haven't even gotten to the video, what she said. We might not make it there. But I'm going to try to get into 20 minutes out of this 58-minute video. And it's just like, man, I lost my train of thought right there. But it's crazy, bro, that these people say, and it's like I said, both sides pander. And the Democrats, while they're pandering, it's not good. That's not why Democrats are bad. Let me let black conservatives on a little secret. The Democrats are bad. This is the reason why me, a socialist, and people like Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King, Angela Davis, Stokely Carmichael, and more would criticize American politicians as a whole. It's not this false veneer of fake radicalist garbage where you're trying to throw liberal ideals under the bus for conservative or even at times or most of the time fascist far-right ideals. The reason why the Democrat Party is bad is not just because the pandering, it's because their policies are not radical enough to literally lift people out of poverty. When the Democrats can be a lot more aggressive, radical, and left-wing centered, they fall on this veneer neoliberalist centrism that sometimes or most of the time maintaining the status quo and solving a few problems, but it's not radical enough to fix all the problems that we are still dealing with, or saying garbage like this. Like my issue with the Democrat Party, for instance, is when they say a good one is that we need a strong Republican Party. Why? They're the opposition. They're the enemy. They're the people that are trying to turn democracy on its head in America and seize civil rights away from every working class person in the country. So this and that's why Democrats are bad. Democrats are not bad because they try to appeal to different voter blocks. When at the end of the day, again, Trump and every other conservative in the country regularly tries to appeal to the right and far right.
But nevertheless, we're going to listen to this. It wouldn't let me download the video, so I'm going to have to screen share, and we're going to be able to talk about it that way. So let's do this. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
And our Commissioner, Marita Davis Johnson, come on, his amazing wife. Our DeKalb County CEO, Brother Michael Thurman, would you give God some praise for him?
Let me actually make sure, because his camera's right there now. I got to make sure I'm not blocking him. I don't got two monitors, so y'all going to have to see this. This is going to happen. But yeah, I want to make sure I'm not blocking him.
And we are appreciative for our emerging new CEO, super bad sister, CEO-elect Lorraine Cochran Johnson. Won't you please stand? We're honored to have you. I know the mayor of Atlanta, see, that's my friend, brother. That's my guy. I'm going to get to him in 1 minute. But the best mayor in Georgia is here, the mayor of Stonecrest. Would you give it up for Jasmine Cobble? Now I can get to Atlanta. He's everybody's mayor.
I would like to ask this guy about how he feels about the abortion ban. Somebody that believes politics and church should be separated for something, I can guarantee he has a lot of contradictions, and just ask him about simply ask him about his policy positions for people to make the choices that they want. This can also apply to gay marriage.
Got you. We rolling together. We all we got. Would you please give it up for the mayor of Atlanta, Mayor Andre Dickens? Yo. Thank you. And I'm telling you, this is the best looking woman with a gun. The best looking woman with a gun. Our DeKalb County Sheriff and Melody Maddox, won't you please stand?
Kamala want to take
my girl.
Hey, Kamala want to take those guns away, sister.
You really think that the Democrat Party is going to take guns away? Hey, here's a conservative contradiction. Did you know that every time the conservatives, the Republicans in America pass gun legislation, it's when black people are carrying guns? Ronald Reagan literally passed a resolution to stop the Black Panther Party from open carrying at the Capitol building and at courthouses because he was scared of black people with guns. So, and the NRA has regularly supported candidates and politicians that are anti-black. So this garbage about you agreeing with people being armed, you really don't. With a party that only really cares about white men being armed. Because to be honest with you, the Republican Party doesn't like it when women are armed. I wonder why that is.
There are over, listen to me, there's no way I'm going to be able to do it all. We have over 56 elected officials from around the state of Georgia with us. But hold on, I just saw my other super bad sister here, Congresswoman Nakima. Won't you please stand? I am so honored to have you. Let me ask all elected officials, would you please stand? All elected officials,
56.
Would you please stand?
56 elected
let's
officials.
Celebrate them. They're all over. Come on, clap your hands for them.
And they're all welcome in the church, you clown. Are you going to say now because they're elected officials that they're not welcome in the church? And are you going to really try to sit up here and convince me that politics and the church has not overlapped one another? And so happily, it's the political side that you disagree with, is in the church. Now, all of a suddenly, you got a problem with it. When, again, conservative politicians are more regularly in the church.
And let me just say this: I don't have a problem with politicians going to church. That's obviously not the issue.
You literally just started this video saying that you had an issue with politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, being in the church. You started this video saying that. So now you're going to backpedal on it. It's almost like you heard my arguments for a lot of politics, both right and left, liberal and conservative, or leftist politics, have originated from the church and in the church. So when you say that, I don't believe you.
The issue is Jamal Bryant. He does this weekly. Where he panders to politicians. I mean, he's always giving shout outs to the DNC.
And you telling me that, because it's like, it's so much more money. And this is the part that always gets me when they say this, because there he goes with the pandering BS again. It is so many more. And I'm talking about people that are in mega churches with hundreds of thousands of people attending them, where pastors, preachers, and reverends go to his rallies, where people that started off in the church endorse and campaign for right-wing politicians all the time. And it's a lot more money behind of it, and it's a lot more frequent. And often at a time, as you can see now in polls, people that vote Democrat are less religious. So I don't understand what you're talking about, where it's this cycle of pandering from Democrats, for Democrats from the church. And at the end of the day, it's the black church. At the end of the day, it's his church, his platform. He can have whoever the heck he wants in there. I believe in a perspective of freedom, but at the same time, I don't want to hear this garbage because first it was pandering to black people, and that's up for dispute. The little jab about guns, that's up for dispute, especially because what Ronald Reagan did because of the Black Panther Party. And now we're talking again about politics being in the church, and I don't need to hear what you're going to say next, because it's already stupid. And it's already hypocritical. Because if you actually care about politics being in the word of God or pandering to, Democrats or Republican, you would cover it accordingly.
Right. He's always giving shout out to the black, to Kamala Harris, right?
So?
Often, right?
It's his church.
No. Thank you. So honored, city council people and commissioners. I need you in an amazing...
Not to mention the fact, again, I'm not going to repeat them over again, but it's Christian reasons a person can legitimize voting for and supporting Kamala Harris. There's reasons why. And there's no Christian reason for supporting Trump. You support Trump not because you're a Christian. It's because you're a bigot that loves to see people who you view as your enemy suffer.
Way I am so overwhelmingly humbled. I'm honored, and I hope that you will share my enthusiasm.
Before, huh?
We don't.
She is considered the mother of Juneteenth. She flew all the way from Texas to be with us today. 98 years old, Dr. Opal Lee. Would you give God glory for it? Come on, y'all ain't shouting good. We are so appreciative. It is because of her stick-to-itiveness that Juneteenth is a holiday. We also have.
Is that a bad thing? Hey, all things theology. Is that a bad thing? Is that pandering to black people that they made Juneteenth a national holiday where we get to stay at home from work and we get to celebrate the end of slavery? Is that pandering? Is that a bad thing? Because you know the conservative position on Juneteenth is being anti-Juneteenth. I would love to hear his opinion on that. Is it just a day off that black people don't deserve, or is it a legitimate celebration of the end of slavery?
We are also glad to have my other big brother is in the building, Cedric Richmond, director from the White House Office of Public Engagement. Would you give God some praise for him? My Morehouse brother, good brother.
This is Politician Day at the church.
Here, Dean Lawrence.
And for Republican churches, every day is Politician Day. There's politicians on both sides that started in the church. You act as if, because I hate this, bro, because this is just like the Asmongold junk, is that these people act as if they are completely apolitical with no biases as they go into talking about these topics and situations, when it's clear from the beginning of the garbage you said about Kamala Harris trying to pander to black people that you have a political bias.
Edward Carter from Morehouse College, won't you please stand? Honored to have you with us on today. Ladies and gentlemen, what a significant and monumental moment for us to be able to record in history.
Shout out to Dear Woke Christian in the chat.
I want to ask all of our young ladies under 18, would you stand? All of our young ladies under 18, I want you to stand.
But their rights are at risk.
Y'all ain't shouting for them, they're the future.
They are.
Amen. You may be seated.
This is a mess already.
Why?
People have been asking all week long, why in the world?
Are you going to give us a reason why? Why? They are the future. I wish he would have said young men and women, or young women and young men, but yeah, they are. Clearly for the cause. See, and it's people like you is the reason why Obama had to say what he said, and probably the reason why he said what he just said just now, is because dummies like you, we cannot, and it's like, bro, I would say this as a black man. We can't count on black men to vote the right way or do the right things. Because of morons like you, bro. And I don't know what driven you down this path to become a conservative, because I don't think it's Christianity, but it's people like you. That is the reason why we have to say that now. Because you got a lot of dudes out here like you that are white supremacists and black skin that will vote in and support people that have put them back in bondage because you read a scripture about not being gay, or you freaking got talked about by a black woman in school one too many times. Your receding hairline having.
Does it have to happen at new birth?
Yeah. Well, we know why it has to happen, because Kamala looked like a fool when she went on Brett Barr, right? Fox News did that interview. Looked like a fool. So now this is the.
She really didn't. Excuse me, eating gushers. I want to cover that interview. Brett looked like a fool and apologized at the end of the interview. It was literally an interview full of loaded questions, pandering, ignorant responses, and over talking her. And anytime she tried to answer a question about one of the subjects that he brought up, she would answer it, try to answer it. He would literally talk when she was talking. So it was in no way she could have did good in that interview. And it was stuff that she had nothing to do with, stuff that she never did. asking her questions about the immigration system when she's not the full president with complete powers over what she can and can't do. And maybe Kamala did come off as a benign neoliberal, but at the end of the day, the answer to that is leftism, socialism, not freaking conservatism, not white supremacy, not fascism. And some of the main topics he asked are like about immigration. You call yourself a Christian, but you care so much about where people live at and where people, you're supposed to invite your neighbors in. What happened to that?
She has to make up for it.
Make up for what?
Right. And look, I can acknowledge when Trump does bad too, right? So this ain't just me just doing it for Kamala, right? Trump has but she is clearly behind in the polls.
She's not. Guess what? She's actually ahead in most of the polls across the country. Who are we asking? You? 1 out of 1 dummies in the freaking room? 1 out of 1 idiots say it. She's behind in the polls. Up yours.
She got to look good in front of the black people. Guess who's gonna make her look good? Sold out black.
She already looks good. Sold out black person. You got some nerves being a black conservative saying somebody else is sold out.
Black pastor, right? So
dude,
we know why
you literally have a YouTube channel where you are like you are right now selling out to people that would see you back in bondage or politically disempowered in the country. And it's like every black conservative don't realize there would be no black conservative if there was no white supremacy. So the fact that you have a job at all pandering to white people who would rather see you in prison or removed from this country verifies the fact that there's still racism in America and that black people still need to stand together. And people standing with black people, be it a neoliberal or a leftist, is not always pandering. It could be genuine. I would rather, as a leftist, a socialist, somebody that disagrees with Kamala Harris on a lot, would rather see this country go in a more liberal, social democratic direction than in a fascist direction.
She's going to the black church, quote unquote. She's going to an unregenerate person.
What happened when Trump went to that church? And it was all white people in there. He was supposed to be talking to black people. And he promoted it as a ceremony with a lot of black people were there when there was only like 12. And they were all black politicians that were licking their lips and gums thinking that they were going to be the vice presidential candidate, which turned out to be the whitest guy possible that Trump could have picked. So again, it's faulting and demeaning the Democrats for doing something that Republicans more regularly do. Trump regularly mentions Christians. And see, look, a lot of the time, bro, you have to ask Kamala Harris about what she's going to do for black people, how she feels about the black community, how she feels what she's going to do about this and that when it's pertaining to black people. But Trump regularly tries to pander to everybody. Oh, my Platinum Plus plan. I got people out of prison. Oh, the stimulus checks. Oh, Kamala questioning her race, being freaking racist, saying that she's not really black. Oh, my African American over there. Stuff like that. Trump doesn't stop trying to pander to black people. Came to Detroit again, to the Detroit Economic Forum, and said the whole country's going to be like Detroit if Kamala Harris gets in office. When he was denying the election, he said New York, like places like Harlem and the Bronx, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles were places, or places in Georgia, in Atlanta, was where most of the voter fraud came from. What do those places have in common? They have a high population of black people. So even he is constantly dog whistling and writing in bigoted garbage to everybody. But it seems like conservatives only call Kamala Harris out, or Obama or Joe Biden, or even I'm sure like Bill Clinton and what have you, and Jimmy Carter, all that. But y'all won't call out these Republicans when they're regularly pandering to homophobes, transphobes, sexists, white supremacists, and rich people.
Person and who believes exactly like her. So guess what? We have to get Jamal Bryant going to try to make you look good.
She already do.
Because we know how it is. Because Jamal has demonstrated it week after week.
She already looked good. What is this? You got to lie to yourself? Trump is the one that looks bad. Yo boy literally went to go work at McDonald's for a day. to try to act like he knows what it's like to be a working class person. When Tim Walz was a teacher, still doesn't have savings or net worth, still doesn't even own his home. He stays in a government's mansion. Kamala Harris worked as a DA. The only elected official is a day job. This is so stupid, man, where y'all set these weird standards for Democrats or left-wing people, liberals or leftists, but y'all don't set these same standards for conservatives or white supremacists.
They gonna shout after no matter what is being said. What? They gonna shout no matter what is being said. What? And so this is just to pander to black folk. Look, we know how it is. Look, I mean, black people, are we tired of being used like this?
What are you talking about?
I think it can happen on both sides.
What do you mean? Used like what? See, and this type of thinking right here is inherently racist and anti-black. And yes, you can be a black person and still be a white supremacist. Because at the end of the day, black people are voting for Democrats off their own free will of people whose policies and rhetoric that black people feel supportive of. That's why black people vote Democrat. It's not because black people are being pandered to, and it's because black people are so stupid and blind that they can't figure out things for themselves. And it's like one thing I always tell my wife, even the most politically unknowledgeable black person that just let's say they just got a job, they listen to music, and they might watch sports. Even black people that don't regularly look into politics knows Trump's a racist, knows that things costed more under him, know that their union was weaker under him, know him to work with and support white supremacists, know him to support the opposite side of civil rights movements and stuff like that, know him to say garbage that he's been sued for now about stuff like he said about the Central Park 5. Trump can't stop falling over himself with anti-black and anti-working class rhetoric, and when black people choose not to vote for him, you saying we are stupid and we can't see past ourselves? That's the actual racist statement, that you're saying black people can't look at Donald Trump or any other Republican politician, including the black ones, and see them for what they are. White supremacists, union-busting hacks. It's really simple, bro. I don't even know if I have to say anything else because, I said I was going to cover 20 minutes of this video, but if this is going to be a constant thing where we're talking about pandering, and that's the reason why you vote Republican, people who would rather see you in bondage and stripped of your rights, you're an idiot. A complete idiot who only wants to see things their way because your own personal biases.
That's right. But this is clearly being done to galvanize the troops.
What do you mean?
Yes, my brother Caldwell Apologetics says, make sure you sub to him. He's going to be taking a look at this tomorrow, by the way, so probably more in-depth analysis over this. But he says Kamala is trying to galvanize her base to gain momentum. Yeah.
It was already her base. It's already her base. What are you talking about? Galvanize her base. It's already her base. She don't need to pander to black people more. She don't need to pander. It's already her base. And again, like I said, this implies that black people are stupid.
That's right.
Big ups to all our haters. Why in the world?
Nobody hating on you.
You literally bro, my video is not going to be an hour long. You made an hour-long video dissecting and complaining and clowning about their speeches talking about pandering. If this is not hate, I don't know what hate is, because you're mad, bro. And it's like, I'm done. I ain't gonna make no more video. I'm gonna just say a couple of more things before I end this video, because you're mad because the actual white supremacy in you is you're mad black people aren't stupid like you and are stupid enough to vote against their own interests because they don't believe this garbage about pandering that was made in think tanks by rich people and white supremacists that want you to stay in bondage. And I'm going to say this thing about pandering one more time, because black conservatives and any other conservatives, gay conservatives do it, I'm sure Hispanic conservatives do it. They pretend like they don't know what the Southern strategy is. They don't pretend like they don't understand what dog whistling is. They pretend like they don't understand racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, anti-worker behavior. All these things are dog whistle and people that are racist, that are sexist, that are transphobic, that are homophobic, that are union busting clowns, are pandered to by the Republican Party all the time. This is why they're always talking about crime. This is why they did the abortion thing. This is why they do the anti-immigration thing. This is why they pass garbage like right to work laws and say unions are getting too big or whatever. It's because right-wing populists, white supremacists, fascists, conservative politicians, and conservative pundits like yourself, whose channel literally exists to tell racist white people what they want to hear, do nothing but pander to others. So you don't get to talk about Kamala Harris or any other Democrat politician or leftist pandering to anybody because she decided to go to a black church. We haven't even gotten to her speech yet, but we don't need to if this whole video is going to be an hour of this clown whining about her going to church, but Trump and all the other politicians, all the other fake pastors and freaking media institutions attributed to the church, Catholic, Protestant, and otherwise, pander to Republican politicians in America all the time. And now this one time, Kamala goes to church, even though liberals and leftists are less likely to be religious anyway, in a black church, especially with the perfect example of Martin Luther King and Al Sharpton, has always been left-leaning and political, is pandering all of a sudden. This dude's a clown, bro. I'm glad that I caught him slipping when I did.